Basically, when I was in middle school, my parents took us up to Brainerd International Raceway up in Minnesota. And we sat there and watched my neighbor race Super Comp. And after that, I just couldn't get enough of it. I tried to figure out any way I could possibly get up there to just sit in the stands and watch the drag racing. And everyone told me I needed to get up there and go to the professional race. So my senior year, I saved up enough money, and when I graduated high school, I went to the national event. Little did I know, I got up there on Monday morning. National event didn't start until the next weekend. But Brainerd's notorious for their big parties in the outfield. So I was out there and hanging out and having a good time, but ended up, when all the pros came in, I happened to be there, and just from there I just asked guys on how they got where they were. And everyone asked if I had a resume or send a resume, or can you pitch in now? And I never had a resume to put together until I went back home and I put one together. From that point, I started mailing resumes off. Every race team in the country, with drag racing, with the Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock, I was trying to go with them, and that's kind of where I started. And towards the end of my college career, I was looking for a job and had an internship at a Dodge dealership at the time, but had an interview with Rhonda Hartman-Smith down here in Anderson, South Carolina. Things worked out good. They flew me down for 2 races. They go, we'll give you a 2-race trial period. So I came down and everything worked out. June of 2006, I moved down here and started working full-time for Rhonda and her family. At the end of the season in 2006, they lost their sponsorship, and they let me stay on until I found another job. And in that time, Richard Hartman, her brother, offered me a position at his machine shop and fabrication shop, which was Horton Race Cars and Hartman Machine Works. Also giving me an opportunity to work on Bruce Litton's Top Fuel team as the bottom end guy. And was able to do that for basically 10 years. I worked with Richard and his family at their shop. Through those 10 years, I worked with Bruce Litton. I also worked with Terry McMillan's Top Fuel team. And then after Terry McMillan, we split ways, and I worked with Bob Vandegrift's Top Fuel team. But in the meantime, I've always been at Richard's machine shop, either learning how to do the CNC machining or hand machining, along with the race car fabrication and street rod fabrication. So it's been a long journey, but a good journey with great people. For a kid coming in now, I would suggest learning from anybody you meet, whether it's if you're wanting to learn how to get into the fabrication, learn every little piece of knowledge you can get from anybody you meet, and try to stick with them and be loyal to them and work your way up. None of this comes easy. When I started here, I didn't know anything about machining, and I didn't know anything about TIG welding or chassis fabrication. I literally was thankful for Richard and J. Ed Horton, for both of them kind of taking me under their wing and showing me how to do some of the stuff. I knew how to weld in high school, mostly MIG welding and some stick welding from the farm. The TIG welding, Richard gave me an opportunity to go back to Tri-County Tech and take 1 semester of TIG welding just to get the basics, along with J. Ed showing me how to fit tubing, do sheet metal work, and then Richard in the machine shop allowing me to machine and run the hand mill and the hand lathe to help with any of the fabrication work. So my biggest thing would be to just learn from anybody in the industry, and that is willing to show you anything you can possibly pick up. When you get into the race teams, basically they start you off as either a parts washer or a bottom end guy. You were at the bottom. When I came in with Rhonda's team, I literally came in the first 2 races, all I did was wash parts. And I'm thankful for that. It gives you a chance to see all the parts come back to you. You get to look at everything, you get to figure out how everything goes together, and you kind of get to understand on how things are put together and how they're done. from that point, Rhonda actually her crew chief, Bodie, and her dad, Virgil, were both tuning the car, moved me to basically a clutch assistant. In that point, I was able to learn the clutch, see how that was all put together. When they lost their sponsor and let me go, at the time, Richard was looking for a bottom end guy, and I had never done the bottom end on the car at all. So I remember getting thrown into that, taking it all apart. It was stressful at first. I mean, it was definitely with a 75-minute turnaround, you're on the clock, and everyone depends on the bottom end guy. But one thing Richard always said is the bottom end guy keeps the pace for everybody else. If the bottom end guy is slow, it holds up the head guys. As long as the bottom end guy keeps moving, everything comes together. So it definitely helped me there. But yeah, you keep working your way up. You start with the bottom end, then you might learn how to do cylinder heads. It might be just at the shop, learning how to do cylinder heads, bolting them on. And you just keep working your way up to different positions until you become well versed to be a car chief. And when you become the car chief, then you keep working your way up if you're wanting to stay in it. In my case, I worked up and became the supercharger specialist on Bob Vandiger's team, and it's been a fun job to do. It really has. And when you meet with a good group of guys, it's like family. You're all just hanging out. Just recently, I took ownership of Horton race cars. About a year and a half ago, I started a business called PH Fabrication. And within about a year and a half, me and Richard have already talked that he wanted to get out of the fabrication business and focus more on just his machine shop, which is Hartmann Machine Works, and asked if I wanted to buy Horton race cars. And of course, I jumped at the opportunity. It's been about a year in the making, just trying to get everything organized. And I'm thankful to have Richard and his wife, Tina, and to be able to give me some guidance when it comes to the business side. Along with the Horton race cars, J. Ed Horton is still highly involved in consulting, also into the fabrication. He's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to building the cars. So to have those people behind me has been a blessing to be able to take over this business. But it's definitely been a challenge. It's long hours and late nights and a lot of learning QuickBooks and CAD programs and all the stuff that people don't see, that it's behind the scenes. But I'm still thankful, and we have been blessed with great customers, whether it's the land speed car or the funny car or even the local drag racers that are bringing their door cars in just for upgrades or add-ons. And same with the street rod guys. I get a lot of the street rodders that come in with their cars, whether it's floor pans or complete builds. I mean, we try to do a little bit of everything. But the business side has been good. I mean, it's just thankful for the opportunity of everyone's been given with bringing their cars in. So the alcohol funny car behind me is for Lance and Melinda King. Basically, it was a build from ground up. The old car's been built in-house. Their old car was roughly 30 years old, and they wanted a fresh car, new technology, just the latest and greatest of everything they can possibly get. And it's coming together really nice, actually. It's typically a car like this should take roughly 4 to 6 weeks from start to finish. This car has been a little bit longer. We've got other projects that have been coming in and trying to knock out also. But the basic chassis doesn't take long to build at all. You're probably looking at 1 week. We can have a chassis up on a jig and it actually looks like a race car. The remainder of the time is putting all the little tabs, brackets, the bottles that they're wanting, the fresh air bottle, the fire extinguisher bottles, the fuel tanks are what take most of the time on these cars. Like I said, once it's done, it'll be a piece for them to take out and run at the NHRA events. Another car we got in the shop, our land speed car. Now, the land speed car is definitely unique to this shop. We have built land speed cars before. Normally they're roadsters, street cars. This one's a full streamliner, and they're trying to run 350 miles an hour with a Mercedes diesel motor with a turbo 400 transmission and a Winters quick change rear end. The combination sounds weird, but it gives you a different class to run in. Along with them running the Mercedes motor, we're giving them the option to also run a Chevy big block, small block, Chevy inline 6, or an LS motor that they can run on, whether it's nitromethane, alcohol, or gas. One perk to this car is, and one thing we're kind of innovating, is making sure they have the full adjustment to run any size tire they want or any motor combination that they could possibly want. It is definitely a unique project for us to do, and thankful for them to come to us and have us do it. But I'm really looking forward to seeing it hit the salt flats out in Salt Lake City. It'll be a good time. A few other projects we've been doing in the shop: door cars. Some of the Street Outlaw guys will come and have us update the roll cages. Also, not only the Street Outlaw guys will do a lot of the street rods, whether it's floor pans or setting a motor in. We'll do any kind of general fabrication. Heck, I've even built railings for decks. We're kind of a one-stop shop for everything. Like I said, I'm thankful with the business and how well everything's coming together.